Welcome to Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we're talking about Granblue in Premium. Now, I know I've been gone for a while, like I haven't uploaded in 6 days, which is very rare for me. I've honestly been feeling burned out as far as content creation goes. I don't know, I've just been a bit bored when it comes to making videos, to be honest. So I figured to get back into my flow, I would just talk about something I really want to talk about. So I'm not covering the standard news and because not much is happening, to be honest. We've had the Champions of Asia release. As to the great surprise of everyone, Aquaforce isn't doing very well. It's not doing terribly, but it's not doing very well. That was, I guess, very to be expected. But hey, so it's not as bad as Nova Grappler, but it's not like gonna beat OTT or anything like that. On the other hand, Dimension Police and Granblue are doing very well, probably like at the cream of the crop, better than everything else came before that. Maybe OTT still doing well, but so far OTT, DP and Granblue are doing well. That's the news. There's nothing else to be said. So I wanted to get into Granblue Premium because, as you know or don't know, I've been playing Nitros pretty avidly. If you know or don't know, Granblue was my second or third clan. It was Shadow Paladin, then Granblue, and then Great Nature, something like that. And so I started with Captain Nightmist, the limit break stuff together with Kokaido's Reverse, that kind of build, very old school. So then I picked up Nitros, I sold it again, I picked it up again, I sold it again, and I picked it up again. So me and Nitros have had our ups and downs. So now I'm very interested to actually build Granblue in Premium. I still have the deck with loads of SP goodness, and I'm hoping to kind of have fun with that. So with that being said, I figured, as I did with 2 other clans already, we could go over some of the choices we have to make. What is your grade 3? Because generally the grade 3 is gonna tell you what you're gonna be playing like. I don't think our primary right target will be Nitros anymore. There's simply too much value in the 12k base, in the Protect gift, especially when considering that Ichitom is still a thing, but it's not killing the game. Rush decks can still rush before it's relevant, Protect just shits all over it. I think Ichi should be banned purely because it fucks with draw PGs. I don't think it should be banned because of Ichitom. Regardless, Protect gifts are very fucking handy if many people are playing OTT just because they think it's the best thing ever. So Protect gifts are good, so we want to be running a Protect gift card. So then the question becomes, which grade 3 do we run as our main? I think it's pretty obvious that we want to go for Baskirk. It's a great thing to ride first, it's a great thing to be on when you're not able to stride somehow, and overall just a solid card. Then of course, the other star we have in the deck is Skull Dragon, because that thing is insane. You know the whale zombie thing from back in G? That card was really good. That was like a deck that we really wanted to be running because it was so good on the rear. Skull Dragon is just that, but miles better. Skull Dragon is great. So I assume we're gonna run Skull Dragon. So I think Premium Granblue wise, we'll probably see 4 Baskirk, 4 Skull Dragon. Or maybe 3. It depends on how good you can actually get that Skull Dragon into your drop. If you have ways to actively filter really aggressively, we may be able to run less. But if that doesn't work out as well, maybe we'll need more. Apart from that, we also have the question like, are there any other grade 3s we want to run? For example, we have the Nitros Stride, which likes to have Nitros names in the drop to give power. So is it worth it to maybe run some Nitros names? The Roomy Labyrinth rare Nitros, the one Starlight, I think. Starlight has a rear effect. Maybe we want to have our Protect gift main, and then we want to have a backup that has Nitros, that one, because it's a rear effect, and more importantly, it gives you Nitros names. Is that an option? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's worth it, but it's something to consider. Then we also have the Swordsman guy, the grade 3. The problem with him is that he's an 11k, so he doesn't really hit any bodies. However, the last ARG from this weekend, we actually had Kevin Ajold, I'm still bad at names, topping yet again in ARG with a Ange. So like you can say, oh, Ichitom OTTs, bro. Ange beat the shit out of them. So he won ARG Premium with Ange. So maybe the Swordsman grade 3 is still valuable because clearly 11k bodies are still running around and doing well. So if many people catch on that certain decks like Ange, Coral, maybe ZTB, maybe Dominate are still doing well in the format, perhaps 11k body doesn't really matter that much. Regardless, it's an option. I don't know if I will run it. So then we go to grade 2s. Now, Granblue has many awesome grade 2 options. I think when building Nitros in G era, that was the biggest thing to actually worry about. You had so many options. You had your Negro Lazy, you had your Negro Rook, you had your King Serpent. If there was Link Joker, you kind of wanted Poker. You had your Cannoneer. Before that, you had your Colombard, you had your maybe Maltreat Shade. So many grade 2 options. And now with V Standard coming in, there's even more options because you might want to run Ruin Shade now. You might want to run Captain Nightmist now. There is just so many grade 2s to consider. So I'm not sure what we're going to be doing there. I do think that because there's quite some power creep in the early game because of Standard, there might be some value in actually running the Ruin Shade. Also setting up your drop zone a bit better because in G, what we would usually do is we would use King Serpent together with the Banshees crits and Gouache to actually create a solid drop zone on first stride. However, that is not going to be the best way to do that anymore because we won't have the Nitros on stride skill to get our King Serpent anymore. Gouache may not be a very strong first stride anymore, I'm not really sure. So we don't really have any major early game drop zone setup anymore. And we also don't have the time to go into Obadiah because Obadiah is just, really slow. He gives you 3 solid cards into the drop zone, sure, but beyond that he doesn't do anything. And given that premium, you will always have your second stride fear. Like in G, you would die generally on second stride, maybe third. So Obadiah is just a bit too slow. That's why we went into the Gouache setup turns. So maybe we do want to be running the Ruin Shades in order to set up the drop zone before that first stride even happens. Now then you have the thing Colombard, the trial deck card. Do you value those extra attacks? Perhaps, because consider, in Nitros, we would always get our multi-attacks of Negrobone. But if we're not gonna sit on a Nitros Vanguard anymore, Negrobone won't always work. Will we sit on a Nitros Vanguard? Maybe we continually stride into the Nitros stride. That could be interesting. Maybe we go into Negrosonger, maybe Gouache. Maybe Megiddo even. There was actually an interesting build that focused on that I saw in Japan. I had actually been considering it as well because Megiddo with Skull Dragon is like really good. So I don't think we can solely rely on Negrobone right now to get our multi-attacks. So we may actually need that grade 2 to do it for us. Perhaps we want to be running some Cannoneers that also lets us plus, and as long as we run Grenache, we can actually get our counterblast back. So perhaps we'll run the Cannoneer. Options. I don't think we will be running Negro Lazy anymore. Again, he requires that Nitros. I don't think it's consistent enough. As for grade 1s, the question will be, do we run grade 1 PGs or the draw PGs? And again, because of Ichi's existence, draw PGs are just almost out of the question, which is actually bothering me. That's why I want Ichi to be banned, because draw PGs give you so many extra deck build options. It's 4 cards out of 50, which means that's almost 10% of your deck just being forced into one thing because of Ichi's existence. Better yet, Seiji from Can You Say G intelligently then said, well, actually it's 8 cards that are being forced into a choice because some people may want to run 2-2 or something like that. So Ichi's existence is basically really fucking with draw PGs and deck build creativity, and that's why I hate her, not because of Ichitom. But yeah, because people are gonna be running some OTT, you're gonna see them in the top tiers regardless. I do think we'll be forced into running the grade 1 PGs. So then we get the question, do we go for the Banshee or do we go for Waterspout Jin? Do we have the soul for the Banshee? I think we do. Do we need to counter charge from Jin? I don't think we do. We may run the Banshee. So then of course we have our 4 Stride Fathers. Again, we want to be rewriting to get our Protect gifts, but we also want to be striding, so Stride Fodder has lots of value. And then what are our other grade 1 options? Well, Romario, the new one, actually is pretty cool. The new Cutlass is pretty cool. And perhaps we'll even play one of the older PGs that doesn't have the from hand restriction, so we can also use Negromora, the G-Guard, to PG for us. That's an option. Again, I don't think we'll be running Bone. I think he's too Nitros reliant. Maybe, I mean, it's an option. Again, there's so many options, as I always say. You could just be running Baskirk as your main grade 3 and build a deck that is supposed to win after striding Nitros twice. Heck, you could run the older Nitro stride that also creates multi-attacks if you have plenty of counterblast. So there are definitely options that would let you make a very aggressive Nitros based build without actually running grade 3 Nitros. On the flip side, you could also play a generic build that doesn't require Nitros, but just plays Nitro Stride because it's good. So then we get into our grade 0 domain. One thing that's very interesting with Granblue is that we have cool grade 0s, handy grade 0s. For example, Grenache, I said it before, counter charge 2 every single turn is ridiculously good. Like, it is so free. So we want to be running it. But the question is, do we want him to be our starter? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe the value of the new starter is just so high because you misride less, you have an extra soul from the start. But on the other hand, you don't want your one single Grenache to go into the damage zone. So maybe we'll run 2. Then another grade 0 that everyone loves is Choppy the Ghosty. Of course, we won't run the shitty new version. That sucks ass. The old one is, however, very, very good. Being able to filter your deck and just go, I want this specific card in my drop right now because I know I'll be getting it, that is insane. Especially, as I said earlier, Skull Dragon in drop is good. Very, very fucking good, especially with G support. So maybe we want to run some Chappy the Ghosties in order to get those Skull Dragons or whatever you need into the drop zone. I do think we'll do that. Choppy is just so damn good. Choppy, like, if you play any other game, you know how good fetching is. Gold Sarcophagus in Yu-Gi-Oh! I bet there's a better fetcher now, but back in the day that was like, whoa, fucking good. In MTG, Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Tutor, all the tutoring cards. Tutoring is awesome. And Chappy the Ghosty is a very, very free tutor. So I think we'll run him. Now, as far as triggers go, again, depending on if we run the grade 1 PGs or not, we could run draw PGs. Yes, Ichikishima is a thing, but we do have protect markers as well. So maybe the draw PGs do have value. Then again, old Granblue builds just ran hella crits with Mig the Ghosty. Do we run Mig the Ghosty? He still is not sitting at 4. He's still limited, so rest in peace, Mick. But we can run 1. So do we run our 1 Mick? I think we do. He's very good. We would probably run the new heals because we still did not get our counter charge soul charge heals. I wonder if we'll eventually get it. I hope so. Then we'll probably just run new crits because better numbers. One final thing we can ask ourselves when it comes to the trigger lineup is the value from the old Banshee, value being the extra soul, the free draw, just the filtering in general, is that value high enough to maybe overcome the 5k power? So then we can get into the G zone. Of course, I have it right here. One of the first cards you really want to be running is Megiddo. Bermuda Megiddo right here. I have the original one in my Aquaforce deck. So Megiddo is just amazing. People didn't respect the Megiddo, but now with Excel Circles and Skull Dragon, of course, Megiddo becomes a whole lot scarier. Again, the person who made a... well, it's being called a Megiddo OTK, but I don't want to call it an OTK because it doesn't really kill in one turn. But basically, what his build did, was a Granblue premium build, was grind out a game, play a very interesting tempo game, which is something my Tavas G deck actually did, which is why I really want to be building Granblue in premium as well. But you play the tempo game until you can Megiddo with multiple Skull Dragons, because again, Skull Dragon is really huge. So that's why I really find it interesting. So we definitely want to run a Megiddo. Again, if you believe in premium, you should definitely pick up your Zerov Dragons because these are just gonna keep rising. They're very rare. Some of them got way better, like Megiddo, Ultima. Now, next up, what we want to be running is our Nitroses, of course. Nitro Stride fixed so many issues. It's too bad we got it so late. Yeah, I'm watching here my Nitro Strides. So it's too bad we got it too late. But we definitely want to be running that. Then the question is, do we go for Gouache? I don't know. Do we want to run Gouache? Nitros is not always a strictly better Gouache, but often is a strictly better Gouache. So like, maybe. Then of course we also have Negro Songer. I actually ordered my 2 SP ones just in case. Negro Songer just sets up extra plays, and again together with Skull Dragon. I don't think we'll be running Dragoot because Dragoot actually requires you to have a full field already, which was relatively easy with Nitro's on Stride and Negro Lazy and stuff. But in this build, we actually rely on the Nitro Stride itself to even build a field in the first place. So that's why I don't think we'll run Dragoot. He just isn't as great as he used to be. I don't really know if we last until Immortal Galleon either. Immortal Galleon being this sweet GB8. Oh boy, I love this card. It's so... In G it was so fun. You build up to that and then you just win. It's a beautiful artwork as well. But again, I don't know if we have the time in the deck. Now as for Negro Lily, pretty card, but without Nitro's GB2, she doesn't really do much, now does she? I also have here my Dismal. I don't know if I want to run Dismal. Perhaps if we see some crazy Overlord or Laurel based DP builds, I don't know. Dismal may be an option. Again, we may also run a Gleam, because a Gleam sets up... She literally makes you able to just dump Skull Dragons if you have to, whilst simultaneously letting you draw an extra card. So a Gleam is very, very good. Now we may also want to run the Dragon. Back in the G build, we didn't really need him that much, but the Dragon right now sets up your drop zone for Skull Dragon, and so there may be some value there. And finally, of course, we have our Negromora. She's able to just let us filter RPG if we want that, or filter our Chappie, which is also very good. So we definitely want to run this one. So those are basically my thoughts on Granblue Premium. Again, there's a lot of testing to be done. I'm very excited for that testing. I'm sure I'll do like 4 deck profiles of each of my 2 favorite clans. But that is basically all. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to the Solemn Vanguard channel if you haven't already. Click the bell button to stay up to date, and let me know your thoughts on Granblue in Premium in the comments down below. I will see you soon. Ciao.